Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode, we are talking about the fantasy comedy horror film Sketch, written and directed by Seth Worley and released August 6th, 2025. At least widely. It's technically, I guess, a 2024 film as far as it had.
Yeah.
It's festival runs and certain things. But yeah, wide release.
Yeah, but we get to see it now, like August 6th, 2025. I can't even, sometimes I can't believe that we're in 2025. Like, it just seems like futuristic at times.
And back end of 2025, basically, because I'm a big old nerd and I read comic books. And I keep like a note in my phone of like all the different series I'm reading, and I keep it up to date of like what day the next like 3 or 4 issues of each series I'm reading comes out, so that I can like look at that and check in and be like, oh, this week this, and they're coming out, cool. And so when I have like the issue that comes out in 2 months and 3 months from now, and it's October and November, and I'm going, oh no, it is already,
Yeah. Exactly. It's just going so fast. And every week, I don't think about it that way. But then it's just like, oh, it's September 11th. Oh, it's September. It's going fast.
Mm-hmm.
Faster than I think, I guess, sometimes. And I mean, Christmas is going to be here before we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. I am not ready for Christmas. I am not ready for Halloween. But candy corn and Count Chocula I am ready for, so I will take that.
Together. You put candy corn in your Count Chocula.
I don't do that.
Maybe you should try it. I don't know.
Maybe it would be okay.
Who knows?
I know you're not a candy corn fan.
It's fine. I don't hate it.
There are people that look at it like it is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's wax. That's what people think about it. I don't. I like it. I don't know. Nostalgic for it, I guess. I don't know. It's a nostalgia thing. So, this movie is rated PG. However, it's kind of a kid movie. So, we're going to try to keep things rated G here.
I'll say PG. I think is probably more
PG
okay. Ourselves. There's still some parental guidance. And the reason I just set that up is with this movie itself. Because, it is PG, and it is kid-friendly for the most part, but I was watching it, I was like, there's a decent level of intensity to this movie in some places, and I think, like, I was like, younger kids, it might be a bit much for, middle schoolers, I think, may really attach themselves to this movie. There's a lot of stuff. But then also just as our conversation about it, so, if I can speak for you, so what Daphne's getting at with, like, the G-rated, PG-rated episode is with movies that are, like, more focused towards kids being able to watch them, then if you have kids that want to, be around or listen to this episode with you or whatever, that, like, it's an okay episode for them to listen to because we will hold back on swearing, as we usually do in a lot of our other episodes. But I think with this episode, there still is, because of the movie we're covering, we're going to be talking about a lot of the themes of this movie, and a lot of those are pretty heavy. And so it still may have some maturity level, at least in the conversation we're having.
Definitely. I think you presented that really well. There's a lot of heaviness in this movie, and neither of us had seen it prior to watching it today, so we could cover it. And we get into it like 20, 25 minutes in, and I realized, okay, I thought we were going to cover a movie that might be a little bit lighter, not as intense as some of the movies we've covered so far this season. And that's when I realized, oh no, I'm probably going to cry. And this is going to be a movie that is going to push us to have conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm honestly, by the time the movie ended, I was already thinking about the conversation that we were going to have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I feel like movies like this always push us to have great, deep, thoughtful conversations.
I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Me
this
too.
Episode. It's, yeah.
Me too. Because I think it's going to be maybe deeper than what we even realize just on the top.
Oh, it's one of those where I was already emotional or like tearing up with the movie, and then I paused it, and then the note I was taking and the like deepness and vulnerability of what I'm connecting to in the movie makes me start like absolutely bawling and crying just because the emotion that I'm putting out onto my notes. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of these ones. Cool. Amazing. Love it.
Yep. It's grief. I mean, grief is a big part of this. And as I was watching it, I thought about you and how you might connect with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, like deeply because of the kids and the situation. So I'm also looking forward to this conversation. I think it's going to be a really good one.
Yeah.
I feel like when it's like this too, processing it on this podcast gets me through to the other side, because sometimes there's still feelings like in my chest when we start talking about it. And so I think it helps me get to the other side. It's kind of like a therapy session. It was,
I finished the movie and got all my notes compiled and ready to go, and then texted you, and I was like, I'm good to start as soon as whenever. And then as soon as I sent that, I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, okay, if she says we can go right now, are my eyes still red? Because I need to make sure I'm good.
Yep. Yep.
Because I've been through some things recently, so let's,
Yeah, there were definitely some feelings. There were some things that made me cry. And I'm not used to that, because I stay away from movies that bring that emotional, like, manifestation to the surface. I stay away from that stuff.
This one snuck up on us, and
it did.
Marketed as kid-friendly monster movie.
Yep. It snuck up on us, and
But that has happened a lot on this podcast. I realized, I was like, we have quite the record of horror movies that are actually just stories about grief.
Yes. Yes. And we don't read too much into it because neither one of us wants to know like everything about the movie, because that spoils too much of it and we can't give a genuine reaction.
Yeah.
And so we stay away from it. And yeah, I'm kind of glad that I didn't know going into it. I think it allowed it to hit the way it was supposed to. So I'll give a few production notes, not much. I've got some other notes and different things. I found an article that was really clever and cool that I'll share some of. But this is, just the basics. It was filmed in Nashville, Tennessee. This is Seth Worley's directorial debut. He has done shorts, educational videos, commercials. He's also an effects wizard.
Nice.
And he hosts this VFX and Chill series on YouTube with Daniel Hashimoto. And I've never watched it. And I went and looked at the channel. I'm going to have to check it out some more. Like, nice. I liked what I saw so far. It was a $3 million budget. It grossed about $8 million worldwide. That may not seem a lot. It's over double, but I still want to see more from Seth Worley.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. After this, I want to see what he can do, especially since this one has been successful for the most part. That, like, whatever his next project is, hopefully he should have a little bit more of a budget to see if he can do something even bigger.
I hope so. That seems to be the thing that happens. Director has a little bit of a hit, gets a little bit of buzz, and then they'll build into it. So I'm hoping that he will get a bigger budget on his next film. He's a really good storyteller.
Yeah.
It was 92 minutes long. Pake, give us a synopsis.
All right. Well, when a young girl's sketchbook falls into a strange pond, her drawings come to life, chaotic, real, and on the loose. As the town descends into chaos, her family must reunite and stop the monsters they never meant to unleash. And that last line means a little more than you even think.
So, when I was little, I watched this thing called Simon in the Land of Chalk Drawings.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically this kid that drew things and was able to go into the land, like go into like making them real and stuff. And it was fascinating. And that was the first thing that I thought of when I read what the overview of what the movie was about. I thought, oh, could it be like that? And yeah, there are some similarities. It's not like identical, but it reminded me of that. And that connected me with my childhood, which brought me right back to like a different mindset from the beginning. But this movie was so much about grief, manifestations of grief, facing grief, and yourself, basically, like where you're at, and not being afraid of how you feel. And versus hiding everything because it's too much. Like, it's too much. One thing I want to mention before we dive in too deep is the teacher that meets with Amber and tells her it was healthier to draw it because it can't hurt anyone. And it's worse to do nothing.
Foreshadowing. I was like, I don't know about that. We'll see.
But it's worse if you do nothing and you let it build up inside as anger. You become a volcano. You know, you can explode from it. You stuff it in. It's like a suitcase.
Yeah.
You fill it and fill it and fill it, and then you close it, and it's too full, so it opens. And that's kind of an analogy that I've heard therapists use before. And so I kind of related to that with the way that teacher was being, because at the start of the movie, I just felt like this poor girl, you can tell that she's dealing with a lot and is stressed. And this is how she's dealing with it, is these pictures. And we don't even have very much of the story when we meet her. Like, we don't know what's happened in her family.
Yeah. So I guess we can kind of get to it. I had just like a couple like little before notes that were, just to kind of set the scene for this one. I said we talked about it. It's been a while since we've had one of our like rated PG kid friendly episodes. What makes this one unique is it's the first time it's been a live action film and not an animated movie.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
And then also I had to say, before watching it, I was a little weary. Because it is produced by Angel Studios, which, not to like say there's like a bad thing about them, other than just they're a studio that's focused on family friendly, and it's two Mormon brothers that started it. So a lot of their like stuff that they work on with the studio and work with is religious or faith friendly programming, with Christian movies and series and things. So they were behind that movie that was huge a while back. That was controversial for different periods, but Sound of Freedom. And then the Risen, the like Jesus series that came out like last year, earlier this year or something. And so for me personally, not a lot of things I'm interested in really at all. Not going to go into that too much. That's not a necessary conversation for this podcast. Personal. Yeah. But so I was saying, it was like, oh, it's Angel Studios. Okay. But I love Tony Hale. Love Darcy Carden. I've heard good things about this, so I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to give this one a shot, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll get into a lot of stuff with this movie and specifics and reasons, but I'm very, very glad that I did.
Me too. Because I wasn't sure what we were getting into. I wasn't sure how it was going to be presented, and it actually surprised me in a bunch of ways. Because there were several times that I was thinking, man, Angel Studios, this is kind of outside the box for them.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the story came to life, and it was intense at times. And I just kept thinking, it doesn't seem like something that they would do. Like, it doesn't seem... I'm aware of some of their TV shows that they've had, because they've got series called
The
Homestead.
Chosen, maybe is what it was instead of Risen. Either way, I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But yeah, those.
Yeah. They've got, they have Homestead is one that they have that has gotten a lot of buzz. They haven't been around a long time. Well, it's only been, I think maybe 10 years at the most.
Yeah.
No, actually, it
started in 2013.
Yeah.
As VidAngel, which was like a service that they had some of their own things, but mostly, I remember my very religious grandmother having the VidAngel service where like she could hook it up to TV and movies that she was watching, that it would filter out language and certain like things that you could set like filters and stuff on it, that it would like change words or bleep stuff out, or it was meant to like make regular TV, home TV and movie viewing cleaner and more appropriate for families. It was a faith-based kind of thing. And then they changed not only the name, just going to Angel and then Angel Studios, but then also kind of branched out to, instead of just like taking already existing things and then like editing them and using that stuff, actually producing and running some of their own films and series.
Yeah, it transitioned to Angel in 2021. And so they've been doing this kind of for 4 years, where they've been producing content like this. And so I wasn't sure what we were getting into. Like, I didn't, honestly, I tried to go in without any preconceived notions.
Yeah.
I wanted to go in and just see what this was about. And like I said, there were several times that I kept thinking, wow, this is really different. I didn't expect this. Not from Angel Studios. But I did read that originally the story was more adult oriented. And there were more profanities, including, as Seth Worley says, at least 30 uses of the Lord's name in vain.
Which definitely didn't fly with Angel, I am assuming.
No, not at all. But they re-edited it and brought it into the standards that Angel approved. And I don't know what changes they made, but I liked this story because it kind of, I mean, the adults had some great moments, but the kids were kind of the heroes. And I liked that. Yeah. I liked seeing kids, work together and have conversations that are not just about what your favorite color is. Like, there were several scenes between Amber and Jack that got me like in the heart.
Yeah,
especially towards the end. So, yeah, definitely. So, when I first put the names, because I usually go into the doc and I put the names down like in the order I think it's going to be. So I reordered it, and then I think I would reorder it again. I don't know. I feel like Amber is the main character, but I also feel like Jack is the main character in some ways too.
That is definitely something I'm going to dive into a lot when we get to it, wherever it is. Where, the main thing that's going on, the pivotal, push in this movie is Amber. Yes. And her struggle and where she's at and the things that she's dealing with. However, Jack is my boy. That is my guy. And there's a lot of personal reason for that. I gravitate towards him for a lot of very personal reasons that I will get into.
I had a feeling. I really did.
To where I really resonate with Jack and have like a whole thing of note about just how as much as Amber is the focus a lot of this, there is a whole underlying arc that Jack is going through that is a lot more subtle that I paid attention to.
Yeah, I had a feeling that you would connect with him, especially given like his age.
Yeah.
And when this is going on. And I know we've talked about this on the podcast before. You lost your mom when you were young.
Pretty much, I mean, I don't know. They don't say what grade or exact ages, but looking at them, because he's the older brother by a little bit. I lost my mom when I was 11, and that seems to be probably right around the same time that Jack is here. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, in looking at that, I'm really interested in what you have to say, because I'm sure that this brought up a lot of feelings.
Oh, yeah.
And as we've already said, this movie is about grief. It is about grief. Grief monsters, kind of. It's like metaphors. I feel like the movie was full of metaphors.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I think Seth Worley wove this together so well. And I really have no complaints about
He drew quite the picture.
He drew quite the picture. So let's go ahead and jump in. We'll start with Amber.
Yeah.
But Jack is woven in because they're together a lot of the time, except when they're not.
Yeah.
I loved that Taylor, her dad, tells her that, and this was a quote from her, "My dad says you can't control your inbox, but you can control your outbox." I had never heard it put
I hadn't either. I like it to where...
Oh my god!
That whole like counselor conversation scene had some really good stuff to where I might actually use the inbox outbox thing. That's because again I've mentioned it on here and stuff because I do mentorship stuff with elementary age students, and so I've talked with kids this age about trauma and grief a lot, and so there's some stuff in this movie that I'm definitely packing away in the back of my brain that could be useful someday, sometime. So I'm like, okay, I like this.
That quote right from the top, I just was like, I've never heard of it that way. And it's so true. And it's accurate to how, I mean, you feel. The noise that you have to deal with on a daily basis that's coming at you, you can't control that. But you can control how you react to it and what you say. And so it resonated with me a lot as an adult. I really related to it.
I really liked, and you know, as an adult even, but then as somebody who still works with kids, to see how that counselor like handled the situation, because she was the whole thing. She's looking to understand Amber. She's not judging. She's not scolding. She's just talking to her as if like everything that you're doing is normal, and that's okay. Holding on to anger isn't good, and you found a harmless, for now, way to let it out without hurting anybody, and that you have your, and it's like, and then, you know, cut to the end of the movie, you know, with even Taylor, their father, saying it's like she's doing the thing we all should. She's, you know, with their pain, she's feeling it. Instead of holding it in and stuffing it down and pushing it back, she's letting it out in some way. It may seem scary and it may not be healthy fully in the long run, but she's doing something about it. There's something there. There's an effort being made, and that speaks volumes.
It really does. And he's talking about focusing on Amber because he looked at her as being troubled when she was dealing with things the way she was dealing with them. And he wasn't looking at Jack and thinking that there was a problem, because Jack was just being Jack and trying to fix everything like he was. Yeah. And we'll get through those pieces, like how we get to that point a little bit later.
For sure.
But Amber,
she's been dabbling in some creative self-expression, let's say. The kind that gets her dad called to school with some concerns, but it's creative self-expression. And again, right off the bat, I was like, oh, okay, the comedy part of this movie is very well done. the dialogue, the humor, I was chuckling out loud pretty quickly. And so I was like, that's a good sign. Okay, we're good. The dialogue hit for me. There's so many great back and forths. Not just the adults. The kids were quick and had great delivery. I thought they were phenomenal as well. But, just the counselor, Tony Hale and the actress playing the counselor, that just like, well, it could be grass. Well, the grass is coming out of the boy's head. And she labeled it. Oh, yes. I was like, okay, this is very funny. Got it.
I mean, she had reasons for drawing this. I mean, she was dealing with something that I didn't think it at first. But as we were going through the movie, we got to a point, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why. That's why he's doing these things. Okay, it makes perfect sense because I've heard there are things you hear a million times about boys and how if they like you, they'll be annoying or mean even just because they like you, they care about you. And it didn't hit me till about halfway through and I was like, there's another layer to this movie.
Right. And I love how it's called out. Again, we're skipping so much, but that's fine. It's literally just, again, that's why I love Jack. I can just relate to him because he's sitting at the table drawing and he just nonchalantly just throws it out there. He's like, it's because he likes you. That's why he's doing it. And then he just goes back to what he's doing. It's like, I can see it from here. Don't even try to lie to me.
Exactly. Exactly.
You haven't put that together yet? Okay, whatever.
They paint the character of Bowman as being this. I mean, I wrote in my notes 5 or 6 times. He's a brat. Okay, Bowman is a brat. He's one of those annoying little brats.
Oh yeah, my first note with him is Bowman. Yeah, Batman. No, Bowman. You're not very helpful. I know you keep trying to think you are. I'm just helping. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're a pain in the butt. Oh man.
Yeah, but to get to kind of the meat of it, we see their home situation. Amber and her brother Jack live with their father, Taylor, Tony Hale, and their mother has passed away somewhat recently. We don't really get too much information what was going on. We just know that she's not with them anymore. And that leaves them to be, as Jack discovers, maternal orphans. Morphins. It's morphin time. Pizza. Sadness. Again, just the lines. I was like, it's so funny. It's a great play off of stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of where we see that. And that scene is so full of stuff that you don't even realize till later. Because again, I'm laughing at Jack doing his, morphin time bit. And he's, that pizza and sadness was hilarious to me. Because I love dark humor. But it, then you see Amber's reaction and her yelling at him to stop and breaking the plate. And then seeing how Taylor reacts where he wants to say something, but knowing that him's talking about what's happening between them right there means having to talk about his wife and he's not willing to do that. That's stuff that you don't even pick up in that scene when you first watch it. It's not until he's sitting there with his sister Liz and talking about it later and telling her the events of that night and what happened, that conversation, that you realize exactly what was going on under the surface that whole time. And it's like, oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, he's avoiding it at all costs. He's taken her photos down. They're not in that, they're not there. And his sister even calls him out on it later and says, the pictures, she doesn't spell it out, but you get the gist that there are no pictures of his wife anywhere. And that's not healthy for the kids. It's not healthy to remove someone. It seems like it's pretending that she didn't exist. You're not even remembering the good times. Yeah,
it's this way of, well, I can't experience grief if I don't have the reminder of something to grieve in my face every day. And so let me just push it away and get rid of it and pretend it doesn't exist and move on. Yeah, it's this idea of I don't have to face my grief if I just don't have something that's reminding me of it in my face every day. If I just push it away, if I just get rid of it, then it's not there. When really, you can't get through grief by just like hiding it in a box. You have to go through it. It's one of those things that, the only way through is through. You have to face it. You have to deal with it. You have to.
Yeah.
And so we see that, like, that's kind of his mentality is like, well, if we just, forget about it and try to move on, like, there's a positive meaning to it. Like, he has good intentions of like, well, if it's just the three of us, and if we just try to, like, hunker down and get through it together and just be the three of us and move on and just pretend like nothing happened, that maybe we'll be okay. But it's like, no, you do have to deal with the things that are going on.
Yeah, you can't wish it away. You can't just put it in a box and say, okay, it's over, I'm not dealing with it anymore. Because even if you don't think it's still with you, it is. Like, it's still there. It's affecting everything in some kind of subliminal way. You have to deal with it.
Yeah. And when I say, you get through it, you never get through it and over it forever. You'll always have to, like, process and deal with things at different times. Even to the point of, like, today, watching this movie made me process some things and go back through some stuff from all of those, all the way back in 2005, whenever I was, and dealing in 2006. So, like, even as an adult, it's like those things are still there, like you said. And so it's easier the longer it goes and the older you get. You're able to kind of live, through your life. But there are going to be those times where just like grief pops up in unexpected ways. And so I'm not going to say it was a bad thing. Like, watching this movie definitely brought some stuff up and made me have to sit and process and go through some stuff. I think it was healthy, and it was, in the long run, I'm glad it did. It was very cathartic, and I needed that today, I guess. So it was good.
Yeah. I lost my dad in 2002. Mm-hmm. And whenever I watch something like this, it brings me back to that. Like, those feelings, even though I've processed them, I've been through it and come out the other side. You learn to cope. You learn to live. You learn to be, to have a life. And you remember those times, the times that brought you joy. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't go away. It's not something that you can take a pill for. It's not something that miraculously a magic wand waves over you and you suddenly don't have grief anymore. You always have the grief. It's just that it's not always present every minute of the day.
Yeah.
But there are things like this movie that will bring it back, and you will revisit it. It's like, you think about it. And I always have an emotional reaction when I'm thinking about it or revisiting it, especially through movies like this, because I just look at it like, oh man. I mean, I was an adult when my dad passed away, and it was rough then. It was really rough then.
It's so formative.
I can't imagine being a child and losing a parent.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly formative, especially like these ages. And so it's, something that, again, I don't think it's bad. And so I think for kids watching this movie, it also kind of teaches them or shows them that, like, it can be scary to face these things. They seem like monsters to you, this grief and these memories and these, like, processing these feelings. But at the end of the day, like, it only, like, brings you closer together and strengthens you to be able to process and deal with these things. Grief is not innately a bad thing.
No. It's not. It's part of life, and everyone goes through it differently. It's not like someone has an easier time or a harder time. It's all relative to who you are.
Yeah.
And for everyone at that time, it feels like a monster.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for the grief that this family is going through and dealing with, then a lot of those conversations that they have at the end of the movie between Taylor and Jack, between Taylor and Amber, between Amber and Jack, those conversations that are, again, formative and important in their lives, that those are things that they will remember forever, they don't have those kind of conversations. They don't have those like intimate moments with each other unless that grief was there to push those things forward. Sometimes it is healthy and necessary for you to form bonds with the people that matter the most with you. Grief is something that is just part of human nature that everybody goes through. So we learn to like work through it and understand it together.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy and it's good, and it brings people closer together.
It does. I think you bond through shared experiences, especially families who go through losses like that. It makes you stronger as a unit because you are the only ones who can understand what losing that person meant.
Yeah.
And I know I felt closer to my brother and sister, especially because we had the conversations and we talked through things, and it, just the connection that you have with a parent, especially one that's just, with my dad, he was the patriarch, and I don't say that in a patriarchy way. Yeah. I'm just saying my dad, he was fun. He was my father, and him being gone from our family was a huge hole. Still is a huge hole. Because your life, it isn't the same after that when you lose someone like this. And there are adjustments. Grief is part of processing through the adjustments that you mentally have to make to realizing that your life is going to change forever.
Yeah.
And not in a way you want it to. But you do figure it out. And as a family, you can move through it and move past it to the other side. But you always carry some of it with you.
For sure. Yeah. So, heavy, but good. I love it. So back to the, no, I did very early in the movie. I had to stop myself from just writing down quotes that were funny because there was too much great banter, especially between Amber and Taylor, her dad.
Oh,
just
my
a lot of those
yeah.
back and forths. I was like, this is so funny. And I have to stop myself from making all of my notes just quoting everything that's being said, because then it's just going to become that. So and then I was like, as I said earlier, I was like, I knew Hale and Carden would deliver. These kids I was not familiar with, but they were so quick, the impeccable delivery, to the point that I had to at least like these main two that I kind of looked into them a little bit, which I haven't seen anything that they've done.
Me either.
Let's see, where did I have it? Q Lawrence that played Jack. He's done quite a few things. He's been in a lot of stuff. Nothing that I have seen or watched really, but like he's been around since he was like 4. He's been
oh my gosh,
he's been acting and stuff. Yeah. So he's been in a lot of stuff. A lot of, one-offs like NCIS kind of shows or whatever the 911 Texas, whatever. I don't know, the shows that those kind of was like little kid in the emergency room or in a situation or, and then he's done a lot of like little things. I did pick up though, he is in another movie that is on the wheel, called Marshmallow that I put on there, about some.
Oh, okay.
It's, I think, again, I have not looked into it much because if we do watch it and cover it, I want to go in very fresh. But it seems to be kind of like a summer camp, kind of like where the urban legends of the summer camp are actually real, and there's some like creepy stuff that goes on or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Yeah. Again, I don't know 100%, but he stars in that, and so I was like, we may see him again. We don't have to wait for the wheel to choose it. If we ever want to.
It. Yeah,
but then when I was looking through like IMDb, and I was like, okay, he's in a movie that I have on my radar, so we could see him again. Bianca Bell, on the other hand, that plays Amber, not as deep of a filmography at all, but I would not be surprised to see her in more future projects as well.
Absolutely. She was great. Has great range for what she was able to pull off in this movie. Mm-hmm. I was really impressed.
And then again, Tony Hale, Darcy Carden, like, if you love great comedy and then especially thoughtful, meaningful comedy, at least for the Darcy Carden side of it. I mean, The Good Place, Darcy Carden's bread and butter. I mean, that's where most people really got to know her. And then Tony Hale's done a billion things, but I mean, Arrested Development, come on.
Oh, God, Buster.
The best.
Yeah. I knew her from The Handmaid's Tale. She played Aunt Phoebe / Ava from the last season of The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah. And I didn't see her character first. I just saw her picture on the for sale sign. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Aunt Phoebe from Handmaid's Tale. Okay. I knew that they were both in it, and I thought they were the mother and father. And so when I realized that's the sister and the mother had passed away, I realized that this movie was going to be a lot deeper than what I was anticipating. Yeah,
but it was, Anyway, back to Amber. I noticed she definitely has a thing about taking people's eyeballs. It is definitely a focus of hers. With a lot of the monsters, but especially the ones she created for her dad, the Eiders.
Oh, the Eiders. They were everywhere, even after they were around.
Yeah.
Like, one here, one there. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, they're having their conversation where, you know, she's showing him finally the notebook and going through it and just explaining each of these drawings, and he's just trying not to like freak out the whole time because he promised he wouldn't freak out. So he's got to struggle to keep that promise as she's just like, and this one does this thing, and this is terrifying in this way, and this is this. And it's like in the midst of all these terrifying, murderous Pokemon.
I mean, really?
We see.
How are they that different?
In that notebook drew the yellow butterfly, her mom's tattoo, and that was like her connection there. And it just, my heart. I was like, yeah, there's still that like. And then later again, we realize it's like, yeah, because he took all the pictures down and all this stuff that like she had to draw that from memory because there wasn't something there that she could look at, which just made it that much more powerful to her. She's
drawing it on the Post-it notes. Like she's trying to draw it over and over and not getting it right and getting mad and throwing it. And that all came about because her mom drew something on her face because her brother had drawn a butt on it.
Because butts are awesome.
No, because that's what little boys do. Okay, they're little brothers.
I'm just saying what her mom said because that was why does he always draw butts? And that's what she said. Because butts are awesome.
Sure. No one wants a butt drawn on their face.
Yeah, so that was touching, and then there's a lot of stuff that again because the way we do this, like I skip over stuff, but we'll touch back on it later when we get to other characters and stuff, but. Because Jack's been up to his own stuff. We'll talk about that. But she does see him heading off into the woods a little bit, so she's going to follow him and see what he's going on to up to, what he's up to. And he's got the box that contains their mother's ashes in it, and he's standing over by this pond. And so she's, I mean, obviously doesn't know why he has that. What's going on? She's not privy to the things he's been up to. So she's kind of struggling with him, trying to take the box from him or whatever and look at it. And while doing that, her notebook full of all these horrifying monsters drops into the water. And I was like, well, this can only be interesting, at the least.
Well, she added some upgrades to the cat on the cover of the notebook, too. Mm-hmm. Because it was this cute little orange cat. He was adorable. It's like,
he was still pretty cute with the fangs and the tentacles.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I loved later. I forgot about the orange cat. Like, when the other monsters were showing up, and then you see the cat run in front of the car, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that cat.
Yeah.
And I loved that Taylor was like, there's more to this cat than you think. and Liz didn't want to listen to it. But
what was the exact line? Yeah, there's more to the cat than it's letting on. There's more to the cat than it's letting on. And then after it, like, just grows tentacles and blows all the, like, color into their face. There's, like, like the color run. And then she goes, there is more to the cat. And he was like, shut up.
Yes.
I love that.
I mean, honestly, the cat just thought that they were a little bland and wanted to spice them up with some color. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so that's what happens is the pond, whatever it is fixing things is at first what it seemed like with like Jack's phone in his hand, but then it's more of bringing things to full life and whatever, you know, they are supposed to be. And yeah, so with her notebook going in there and then all the, you know, crayon and marker and whatever it is bleeding off into the water, and these things become real. And it takes a little while. And then there's, of course, like the overnight with the tapping on the window, which get to that.
That reveal. We won't say what it is, but that reveal got me right. I
so good.
Was not prepared.
I should have seen it coming earlier, but I didn't.
I knew we were in trouble when the water started bubbling before they even went back to the house.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy, something's percolating underground and we're not going to like it, probably.
Yeah. But then, yeah, they're talking about it on the bus ride to school. And then, you know, there's like the sounds, which of course Bowman's just there to give his 2 cents. He's never not just hanging right over her.
The entire
it's
time.
like, there's a mountain lion. There's no mountain lions, but there's bobcats. And then it was like, well, there was a bobcat. And then immediately, like, you see, like, you know, the birds rising up and he starts rising from the corn. And I'm like, that's no bobcat. It's Dave.
Had she left Dave alone and not added more things to him, Dave might not have been as scary.
No, he would have just Dave who sleeps. Mm-hmm. That's what he would have been. It's just Dave who sleeps.
But she added eyes.
Snake toes.
And snake toes. I do think, though, the way they brought the eyes to life on Dave the creature, if you look at what she put in the notebook, it was good.
I love it.
I thought the graphical or the effects
in this
movie were fun.
Yeah, like, I mean, we saw $3 million budget with a lot of special effects and CGI. That is not much of a budget at all.
No,
you can't. And so, yeah, like a lot of the animation doesn't look great, but also it does. And I think that's what's really smart is because of the way because they're her drawings come to life.
Yes.
So why make them hyper realistic? Make them look like drawings. And then the cheap CGI budget works in your favor. Mm-hmm. It makes sense because they look like children's drawings because they are. Like it's really cool.
They really look like drawings brought to life. Mm-hmm. That's what I was hoping for. I didn't want something overproduced. Mm-hmm. I really wanted it to be animated in a way that makes it look childlike at the same time. Like that she drew it, not like, okay, this is our interpretation of what she drew. No, it should look like what she drew.
Right from the page, yeah. It's really cool.
I wanted
get some
that.
Great action sequence, car stunts. I mean, we got the bus running through the truck and everything. I was like, oh, they're doing actual, like, stunt driving work in this movie. Nice. There's some budget. And, of course, I went out loud because I just talked to myself while watching movies while doing this kind of stuff, like prepping. And I went, heck yeah, car stunts. And then immediately saying that took me back to the whole car pranks scene and running bit in Righteous Gemstones. But that's neither nor there. Car pranks. There's just some fellas I do car pranks with.
Yep. It's a thing. You wouldn't understand.
But yeah. And then Amber did draw a school bus under the newly monsterized Dave for him to crush. So
yep, she did.
What made her realize is like, why was he was there to target the bus? And then all my other monsters usually had somebody they were targeting. This is a problem.
Because they were born out of her head.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where she manifested or put her anger. Yeah. And the whole thing started because of the creature that she drew that was not chopping Bowman's head off, but driving a knife through or
stabbing him in the stomach really hard.
Really hard.
That's it.
That's kind of how the movie started, was because of that drawing.
Yeah,
because
her dad says when he's like going through the notebook and then sees that page, he goes, "Oh yes, an old family favorite." Again, I love the humor.
Again, I know,
so good.
An old family, but she'd colored it in at that point.
Yeah, Yeah, so she realizes that's what leads them to having Bowman joining their adventure, is saving him. The Tattler and the blind monster.
Kind of. Oh, the Tattler. Like, I knew
fun.
What that was right away, and I'm like, oh man, that means the Blood Eaters around. It's just gonna draw them in. Oh my god. I love how that was animated, though, and how it lit up, like, and was blaring. I loved it. Like, as someone who enjoys movies like this, I really, truly enjoyed watching how they animated the monsters. It was fun to me.
It was really fun. So yeah, Bowman's added to the adventuring party. And then, so they go from there and then go back to the house to try to get supplies and then deal with the Eiders. There's all of that fun stuff.
The Eiders. Oh.
But yeah, great. And then after kind of, dealing with them, loading up and coming up with this plan of drawing the something to kind of combat, because it was Jack again that had this idea, because they're like, what are we going to do? And then because he knows about the pond, he was like, well, all of these things, you drew them, and then they were bad things that you drew that came to life. So, and he doesn't even have to say anything. He was like, so I know what we need to do. And he gets all these like art supplies. And I went like, so I had to even make the note. I was like, they're going to draw a bunch of good and helpful things to combat the scary bad ones. Holy analogy, Batman. I love it. I was like, yes, compartmentalizing the pain helps for a time. But if it's the only thing you store up, then the negativity overflows. You have to balance it with good, with the things stuff that bring you joy and that can be positive to you. So again, it's just like the metaphors in here where it's just like, okay, the negativity, the bad things have overrun. So now we need to make sure to fill this space with good to balance it out, to combat it. And it's like, so good.
And that goes back to the conversation she has with her dad about putting Dave in the notebook in the first place.
Yeah.
Because he looked at Dave as being a good thing.
Yeah.
He's, so he puts him in, he's like, tapes him in there. Like, okay, is he a good thing? Not when she's drawing and adding all those things on.
Yeah. And then I just had this thought again, because when thoughts come to my head while watching, I'm like, well, I'm going to write it down, even if nobody gets it. It's a niche reference, perhaps, but I'm going to. Anyways, the three kids running through the woods with helmets and pads and water guns and art supplies. I was like, oh, it's a little pack of inklings. Even Amber has tentacles drawn on her arm. But yeah, I was like, that's all. I was like, oh, look at these inklings going. Ready for a fight.
I mean, her brother on the bus did try to give her a notebook. He is trying to help her. Like, you can tell he's trying. And she throws the notebook out the window, but she keeps the marker and draws on herself. Which, I mean, you know what? It comes in handy later.
Yeah. But, man, yeah. And then when they get into the woods and have that moment, that's where I was like, oh, I didn't think this movie was going to hit me as emotionally as it did. But I think the first, like, really big one is the scene with Amber and Jack as they're fighting. Because you really see a lot of that breakdown where she's been letting stuff out, but I think it's where you really see Jack crack. And it was like the first look into him and who he is and what he's been dealing with, where finally, because like, we have to go. And finally, she's just like, you're always talking to me. You're always trying to help. And you're always trying to, like, it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. And he snaps back at her. Maybe there is something wrong. And you can see immediately he regrets saying that. And he feels bad about it. Because there's a lot of pent up grief and a lot of frustration and hurt and pain inside him that he's just been barricading in and just holding back. And so that was that conversation. And then, he's like, yeah, things would be better. Because that's what she's like, that's what you're trying to do. You're taking the box to the pond and you're going to try to bring Mom back because you think I'll be better if she's back. And he's like, of course you would. Everybody would. Everything would be good with. And I'm just like, oof. Like, that was the first, tears moment while I'm watching this movie. And I'm trying to hold him back right now talking about it. And I'm just like, man.
Because it was like a punch in the gut. I mean, because you're watching a kid who had, like you said, held everything back and going back to what we'll talk about later with this conversation with his dad, it goes right into that with that whole feeling of so much energy is being put towards Amber and how she's dealing with things that the grief that's inside him is just building and festering.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to lash out, but sometimes you stuff so much. Again, it's like that suitcase. One too many things, and then it's boom. And everything goes everywhere, and that's what happened.
So I'll skip ahead to at least my big note for Jack in his section, just because we're talking about it now. So there's no point in circling back to it when it's very... And this was even before Taylor showed up behind him. Like, it's funny because it which made it even that more emotional whenever they have their conversation, father and son, because I was already crying just from the note I had taken, and then following it up with and then I hit play, and then it shows Tony Hale standing there going, Jack. And I was like, oh no. So this note even came before their conversation. I had picked up on it. But, so here's just the big one that really got me here was I said, Liz alluded to it earlier. But the main focus of this movie, is definitely seeing this hyper-realized version of the journey that Amber is going through with grief.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time we are also watching Jack struggling with his in a much more subtle and subdued way. Because not all grief is loud and noticeable. People go through things differently. And so that's why I think I said earlier, I was like, if you watch, there's this underlying arc going on with Jack that's a lot quieter, because once you really figure him out, and again, I'm paying more closer attention to him because I really gravitate towards him. There's this resonation there. Was like, he is burying it, and he's putting all of his effort into others, but not himself. He's quietly struggling with what the right things to do are. He's finding this thing that might be helpful. The pond is this allegory for just anything that somebody in this situation in real life is going to do. You find something that could be helpful, but it also could be harmful. That's a lot of people that deal with these high levels of grief. I went through a lot of that at my age, at the age that he is at when I went through this. So much, it never got super bad, but the suicidal ideation and looking towards, self-harm in some ways, and some people lead to drugs and alcohol abuse and all this stuff, even as kids. And you find things, this could be helpful. And his is, this allegory of this is the pond, where it's like, I can fix things. I can make things that are broken whole, but it also can do harm, as we see when it creates these monsters. It does these things. And then when he realizes that it's maybe not as good as it should be, he's got the box. That box of ashes was such an allegory and a metaphor in itself that he kept it to himself as a secret. Kept it in his box. Yeah. He didn't tell his sister and his dad until Amber found out about the pond. He was keeping the pond itself a secret because he doesn't want to worry other people that are close to him. He's like, I'm dealing with this thing. I'm having these thoughts. I'm having these issues. But I'm supposed to be the one that's holding things together. I'm supposed to be the one that's taking care of my sister and helping my dad. They don't need my problems as well. So I'm just going to keep it a secret. I'm just going to hold on to it and deal with it myself. And so him carrying that in his backpack and not even realizing it until he's on the bus. And he's like, I still have it. It's this baggage, this thing that he's carrying that, he knows that he's got people who love him, that have his back, but he's going to keep it packed away and keep it secret anyway. And I thought that was really powerful, that it's just like, it's just a small, subtle little thing, but I picked up on it. And I'm like, oh, been there, buddy. Man,
Well, you have two younger brothers. When you were going through that.
Yeah. And so I connected with Jack because he's, like I said, this character I gravitate towards because he's the older sibling who's trying to keep things together, help his dad take care of and deal with the emotions and grief of younger siblings, in my case, where it's, secretly dealing with a world of hurt internally. But there's not time for that because Dad needs somebody to have his back. He needs somebody to help take care of the one that needs more attention, the ones that are younger, the ones that are going through worse things, that are that are affected harder. It's like, yeah, I'm going through a lot of pain, but like my little brother or his little sister is dealing with things in a worse way and is having more problems. So my problems aren't that important. I'll tuck them away and I'll keep them in this box in my backpack, and I'll make sure that they're taken care of first. All the while just continuing to pack it and pack it and pack it down until it's eating away at you, until you don't even realize the pain you're putting yourself through. And so Jack I could watch him through that lens and really he's going through a lot, but he's not saying anything.
Yeah. I related to Amber in the anger because that is also a way that you can or do process things where you're just mad and everyone's the enemy almost. You need someone to blame and you can't. There's no one to blame. But as a kid, you can, build it in your head and feel like you can take it out on someone else. Yeah. In a way. And just want to be left alone. Just, in your own world that you're creating for yourself, because it's too painful any other way. And then with a father and a brother who just seem to keep making you feel like you're broken or something's wrong with you. Mm-hmm. When you're the one who's actually dealing with what's going on. Yeah. And I think when she has the conversation with the therapist at the beginning, or not the therapist, but the person at the school, mm-hmm. I think that was the first time someone ever told her that what she was doing was okay. Yeah. Because she wasn't hearing it anywhere else. Yeah. It was relatively new to them, I guess, that she was drawing in such a severe way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that reveal where it's like, well, it couldn't have been that bad. And you don't even see the drawing at first. Like, it's just the back of the page as you see his reaction, like, oh, well, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Mm-hmm. But it's grief. It's grief. It's how she's dealing with it. She's dealing more with the situation at hand, which is her frustration with being picked on by Bowman. But the underlying current is there too. She's in pain from her loss, and everyone's trying to fix her. So she thinks she's broken at the same time, and it just makes everything worse. And so the arc that she's on and the arc that Jack's on are different, but they're kind of parallel.
Yeah, for sure.
In the way that they go.
Which, again, it's great for that, because grief does affect people differently. And so you see the way she reacts is, again, the metaphors with the monsters and all of the roaring and her grief is loud. It's noticeable. She's dealing with it in that way. And then Jack's, again, if you're not watching him as closely as maybe I did, some people might miss it because sometimes grief is so subtle. Mm-hmm. And, depression you can be going through the worst depression and nobody even know it because you're just dealing with it in such a quiet and internal way.
I think sometimes you need permission from people around you, the ones that care about you, to deal with your depression in a not quiet way. Yeah. That it's okay for you to unload and let them help you carry what you're going through instead of shoving it down inside. And that's hard. And that's not just grief, that's depression in general. And a lot of people suffer from depression. It's much more common now, or at least it's much more diagnosed now. And it's common for people to carry it quietly until it, tears up so much of you inside that you have to let it out. Yeah. Otherwise, it will destroy you. Mm-hmm. And I think the monsters in this movie really were a great representation of what even when the blind monster is trying to eat Bowman,
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that like that's grief right there, just trying to eat you, like trying to like destroy you. That's what it's like. It consumes.
Mm-hmm.
It can consume you. And so the monsters and the metaphor of the monsters, it hit me. Like I felt connected even beyond grief because I felt like it represented so much more.
Yeah, like I think the other really bigger, like heavier one for me, which tie into, back to talking about Amber, is we see, time for her to face herself. Nega Amber. Fight. Do they also make plans to go out for brunch next week? Probably not. But
no.
But yeah, we see, because that was this evil Amber, in quotations, this monster here. Which when we first see just the glimpse of that one, I was like, that's the correct response to seeing some evil creature, is the people working in that convenience store where they're like, no, thank you, and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately, like, there's like that purple essence of it, and I'm thinking about the purple face she drew, and I was like, oh, I'm guessing that's the old family favorite.
That's the monster that is supposed to take out Bowman.
Yeah. And so this evil Amber, and again, here's me getting way too deep, but I guess, this movie did that to me. I was like, okay, evil Amber, and what we see of that, sitting by the pond, like a guardian, continuing to churn out more darkness, more pain, keeping it going, feeding into it. And then whenever Jack shows up with the butt, and she destroys it and tears it to pieces and rips it. And it's like, so not only sitting there and like guarding this place, almost like guarding your mind, guarding your heart, she's at the edge of this pond, continuing to put more darkness, more negativity, more hurt into it. And then when he shows up with something good, you destroy it. No, we can't have that here. This doesn't have a place here. Goodness doesn't belong here. This is the place where only like pain and hurt. We're going to sit and deal with that. It is a monster of grief in itself. And depression in a way.
Depression.
Self-loathing, unworthiness.
Yes.
Because Jack has that moment. That was another one where I started crying. And my note, I said, Jack, you are killing me, dude. Is whenever he first sees that thing and then goes to Amber and he says, is that how you see yourself? He goes, you're nothing like that. You're smart. You're funny. You care about people. And you drew this. And he shows her that like Wyatt Force thing that she drew. And that was important. But where you see, it's like, it's not only like grief, but it's because of her grief and the way that she's handling it. As she tells Jack, it's like, the way that you and Dad keep hounding me about this is like, it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. And then it's this, like I said, self-loathing and unworthiness. Is there something wrong with me? Am I broken? Is there something wrong? And then she sees herself in that, and that's like a self-portrait. That evil Amber is her view of herself. And I was like, oh man. And then that's where I'm like, here I was thinking we were going to have a nice, easy, kid-friendly movie to talk about for a quick episode. And now I'm fully in tears, processing feelings. And I'm so touched by this story that's being told under the surface. And then I'm like, but I'm so glad I took a chance on this movie because it's just what I needed, I guess.
I agree, because I also took that from the standpoint or the view of how depression can make you look at yourself in a negative way and make you feel that you're not worthy of any goodness and will eat at you to destroy anything good by telling you things like, well, nobody cares and you're not as good as you think you are. The things that depression will do, it's so hard to deal with. And then to watch this movie and see this manifestation and the way that it was presented, I just was like, that I can refer to this going forward as being, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at. I'm at Evil Amber. You know, like that's where it is, because there's no, I mean, you can tell someone you're grieving, you can tell someone that you're depressed, but trying to get them to understand it if they haven't gone through it or they're not in that headspace of it, it's really hard to get people to know what it's like.
Yeah.
If they don't go through it. And now I feel like, okay, there's a visual representation of what it is.
Yeah.
Right there in this movie.
And then her, fighting against it. And then I was like, okay, that is so cool. Can't draw anything new. So the tentacles that you couldn't get off your arms before, those become your weapon. Fought really cool with those doing some superhero moves. And then I was like, oh, I am making note of that, writing that down. And for the hopefully eventual Kids in Capes campaign, make a note of tentacle armed girl. Got it.
Yep.
That's cool.
I love that it reminded me of Mortal Kombat in some ways. Just those tentacles. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, the way that she's going about this. Because she had to do what she had to do. By the time she got down there, she had plenty of paper. The markers were used up. I mean, Evil Amber used all the black Sharpies.
Yeah.
They're all gone. There's nothing left. So she had to think quickly because Evil Amber was going after her brother.
Yeah. Yeah, such a great just sequence and then the fight. And then, because Jack is there with the diamond sword, not emerald, regardless of what Bowman says. If Amber says it's diamond, it's diamond. Speaking of Bowman, then he's also got his big gun covered in little guns. And definitely a schoolyard crush on Amber. I love that. Like, he's like, do you want to be my girlfriend?
So much.
No. Okay. Like,
yeah, girls aren't at that. I mean, they're not.
So funny.
I remember getting notes in school from boys or sending notes in school. Like it's cute, but I don't know. I don't think Amber's in that headspace for a relationship, but he definitely has a crush on her.
Oh yeah.
And as you see it like develop and it all comes out in the open, it's kind of adorable.
Yeah. And then I love after that fight there, when Taylor shows back up, again, I told myself not too many quotes, but this one, it was like, no, this is one I'm having to write down. I dipped my arms in the pond to save Jack, and he saved me with the diamond sword by chopping Evil Amber's arm off. It was amazing. And his response is, every part of that was horrifying.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you'd expect a father to say. But again, we're talking about Taylor, who started this movie and didn't believe his son, despite his son trying to tell him the truth. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, oh, you're all in now, aren't you, Taylor? Because you've seen this with your own eyes.
Oh, yeah.
You've been playing with eiders and other assorted creatures.
That scene was another impactful one for me in a way, but we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then that's what, having that conversation, and then they see the box come flying through the air, and then like the fireworks almost of all these other creations going up. All the past good things that Taylor had held on to. And then Amber gave to Jack for him to kind of, through her, like, accept and release into the world. Choosing the outbox that you wanted to show, right? Balancing it out, healing that pain and the negativity and hurt from the inbox that had been let out. All those things that you couldn't really control, but now they've chosen their literal outbox, a box of old drawings that their father has held on to, and
which she didn't even think that he had anything. She thought that he tossed everything that she drew, and he didn't. He had a giant tote full of her drawings.
Yeah. All
the good things.
And then, I talked about a little bit, I will go back to Jack's thing, because, so really breaking into and digging into exactly what his story was and what was going on with him. And then, like I said, I took that note, full tears, hit play, and then immediately after that, Taylor comes walking down and has this conversation with him, and it just more.
Yeah.
And by the end of that, I was like, that was rough in the best possible way. But it's like, because that conversation they have, like Taylor realizes the pain that his son has been quietly stuffing down, just the same as he has. And they have that moment together of being like, your sister maybe actually has it handled the right way. She's been feeling things, and we need to do better about that. We need to take care of ourselves and take care of each other. And that conversation, by the way, that broke me. Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. Because we've been leading to this the whole movie, I think, for Taylor was learning and understanding that acting like Allie didn't exist or pushing everything away like that was not the right thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, because it goes back again to what I said about what Liz said, which I think maybe the most important quote of the whole movie to me was this, my side character, more of Liz, where again, when I had to write down, not because it made me laugh, but because it hit me so hard, where she goes, I think you should stop worrying so much about the girl who's drawing pictures of her pain and worry a little bit more about the boys who are ignoring theirs. And I was like, okay, Liz, dang, all right.
Agreed, 100%. I wrote the quote down too because it hit. I mean, they're sitting there and she's trying to call the police and they're talking about the situation, like what's going on, but not just about what's going on, but everything.
Yeah.
The entire thing. And she's his sister. She has known him her whole life and she's watching him do this. I mean, she's trying to sell his house and then watching him just like keep it from happening by running into the house during the showings and acting ridiculous, like the things that he's doing. And good for her for just like putting it out there because it couldn't have been easy to like.
I think that her saying that to him is what set that trajectory to him having that conversation with Jack by the pond. And man.
Earlier she had said to him, you took all the pictures off the wall. You kind of made the house look like she never existed. Do you think that might have something to do with all this pent up emotion? Come on, open up, dumbass. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
And she needed to say that to him because nothing was getting in.
Yeah.
Because he'd built up all this, walls of pain and he was just trying to exist. I mean, he really wasn't living. He was existing.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So that between the two, him and his son, and then it just Amber coming in with her tentacles, but hugging and, joining them in at the end, topped it off perfectly. And I'm just like, oh man. Because again, I think, the quote there is, we thought we had to fix Amber, but she was the only one doing what she needed to do with her pain by feeling it.
Yep.
What a beautiful movie.
And it's not his...
What a beautiful movie.
I know. I know. He tells him, not covering stuff up, it's not his responsibility to fix everything. And I think he really felt it was. Like, it was expected. Like, he was supposed to be the strong one because he was older and she seemed to be the problem child. But again, shining the lens on what's really going on and realizing that, Amber's dealing with the pain she's feeling. She's processing through it. We don't really know how long it's been since
it doesn't seem like it's been that long. I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, just again, budget-wise, they're not getting younger actors. They can't get, but it's like...
No.
But I mean, even then, it's like, well, that works within the storyline to really see. Is like, if it has been very recent, like, there's a lot of fresh wounds that they're dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think them coming together at the end, and we see at the very end of the movie, they're going off to school. She doesn't have tentacles, so somehow those went away. So I don't know how that happened, but I'm okay with not knowing because, whatever. But they're going off and you can see a lightness in her and she's actually drawing happier things. Yeah. And you can tell. I mean, there was a lightness, I think, too, in all of them. I think there was a more, like a weight was lifted off. Yeah. Like acknowledging what was going on. Because sometimes that acknowledgement and acceptance of what's happened and what you're dealing with can be the game changer that allows you to let go of some of the weight that's on you. We're getting so profound in this episode.
They're like, oh, it's going to be it's a kid's movie. So when we first decided to do this one a week ago, it's like, well, it's a kid's movie. We can just keep it clean and have a quick little fun conversation. It might be cute, and we'll move on. Not expecting it to be all of this, but I'm so glad. It's so good.
We should know better, but I honestly was looking forward to this conversation once. I think I texted you, like, I was 10 or 15 minutes in, and I said, I'm so glad we decided to do this one. And already it was because I had realized that it was deeper. Yeah. And I love the conversations we have when we get deep into it.
And I think I immediately responded to you. I said, I was just a little further ahead. I was like, yeah, I'm like 30 minutes in and fully agree. I can't wait to talk about this. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
We don't, I know we've said this on the podcast before. We don't talk about a movie before we cover it. So we knew we were covering this one. We don't like get on Zoom before we record and talk about the movie before we record. We do it all fresh, which sometimes sucks when it's like Jurassic World Rebirth and I want to talk about it after I see it in July and I can't. And it's hard because I want to talk about it with you, but you know, we have to wait for that.
It's ready to go whenever we want to do it. It's been ready.
I know. I really like these deeper ones, though, because I think it's cathartic in some way. Like going back and reconnecting with parts of myself when I'm thinking about grief and losing my dad. It's cathartic to do that every once in a while. And I think that this was that time for us to do that again, to reconnect with that.
For sure.
But I think we got through Amber.
Yeah. The first section in an hour and a half. But no, but also I definitely pulled a lot of notes from other sections as well as we kind of connected them. So for the rest of it, we can go through a little quicker, but like I've definitely still got some other thoughts. I don't know. Do we want to go to Jack next, or
Let's go to Jack.
Yeah, so it'll be quicker because I think we've covered a lot of the really big ones with that first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's the one that finds the pond, this magical water with a definite weird shade of blue. Immediately, I'm like, when he drops his phone, and I was like, that's a weird blue. That's not a good blue. I don't know what's going on.
That is not a good blue. That is not what we're looking for.
But healing the cut on his hand and the phone screen getting fixed, and it's like, okay, something's going on. And then we see him, running this little experiment because he realizes, when he's getting in the shower, he's like, his hand's completely healed. And then he was like, well, the water restored my hand and the phone, so maybe the special plate that Amber had broken. And then so he goes and tries that, and it works. And then that's what pushes him to step up the experiment. And I had a feeling what it was going to be when you see him sneaking down there with his backpack. And so when he pulls out the box of the ashes, I was like, yep, I kind of figured that was going to be where he would go next. But yeah, and then I talked about, just kind of my connection with him. I loved how much he was just such a good brother. Again, that was, part of his grief was really being hypervigilant about just putting all of his effort into his sister and not taking care of himself necessarily. But you see how it's good, even like when they go back to the house with Bowman and he's calling her a witch in those moments where he's just like, he's not going to stand for Amber slander. He's going to be looking out for her. Which I love. And then it's his idea to kind of try to draw more things and have something to combat. All of the Minecraft and Zelda references, I was like, yes, very accurate. Kids this age today are going to be looking through the lens of video games, and I love it that there's so many references.
I know. Zelda is like timeless, I think.
Yeah.
It goes across all generations.
And then, the battle with the Eiders. And then here's where I was like, I know we keep these episodes as clean as possible, but the only way I can describe that these kids all geared up, especially Jack with the goggles and like the towel over his face, this like face covering. I was like, badass. He looks like a badass.
Absolutely.
Even Bowman with the pink gear and stuff, but he still was like so cool that we thought was running off again, and then he comes busting through with water hose in hand to rescue the Wyatts.
That was amazing.
And it's like,
he couldn't.
Yes.
He couldn't leave Amber.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Now that it's starting to be out there,
So good. And then I think, everything else that I had on him was the real meaty, heavy stuff that I talked about already. So
yeah. I think that Jack definitely, again, parallel arc with his sister. What he needed to deal with was not the same as her. It was grief, but it was in a different way. The way they were both dealing with it in different ways, but it was grief. Wanting to make things better. Wanting to bring his mother back so that everyone would be the way they used to be. I mean, that's what he wanted to do. Not just for himself, but for his sister. Like, to make things better overall. And so the reasoning behind it was, the best of intentions. But I really like that Taylor shows up and talks to him about that. Says, I know what you're going to try to do, but, please listen to me before you do it.
We don't need a pet cemetery situation on our hands. Let's not.
No, we do not. No.
Let's not. We're good.
And unfortunately, the box that the ashes were in got a hole in it, and then the ashes were gone.
Thinking also, they were all scattered right there out of the backpack. So I was like, somebody get a shop vac out there now before the wind blows them into the pond, and then something bad happens anyway.
I did wonder about that too. I did wonder about that.
Let's fix that.
Yeah. I like too that Jack is saying to her, these are just things you drew. Like, you're not this person. Yeah. You're funny, creative. This is just a thing you drew. Like, he kept going back to that, and I liked that because he was trying to minimize it for her and bring it to a place so she could get where she needed to be.
Yeah.
Like, draw something happy like that, getting in that mindset. Mm-hmm. But I think that's all I have on Jack.
Yeah. So then Taylor, again, it's kind of the same thing where talked about some bigger ones, but in the dialogue is good. The kids are so clever. I love just like the way they look up, like Jack, especially like he going on like his phone and like looking up different things and then just going into it, It's just like, don't look at my notebook. I promise I won't look at it. Give her your covenant. What? Yeah, give me your covenant. What are we, a cult? And then fine, I give you my covenant. Now forge a blood oath. Go to school. Just very funny. And then, of course, when he walks back in, after he spills coffee all over the notebook, and it's a callback because whenever they're sitting around the dinner table and Jack mentions something, is just like, do you think they're going to come in here and knock down the walls to create space or something? Because they do that on House Hunters. Why are you watching House Hunters? But then when he comes back in to try to like clean up the notebook and Liz is talking to the potential buyer of the house and she goes, I think I'm going to knock out this overbearing wall and open it. I'm like, subtle humor, the little callback. I'm like, that's so funny.
I got news for you, lady. As I've seen a few House Hunters. You're not going to knock down a load-bearing wall. Yeah. Like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. If you do, your house is going to collapse. So good luck to you then, living in that.
Yeah, so Taylor selling the house, at least, I think it's another one of those, they end up not. By the end of the movie, you see that they're still living there. It's another one of those things where, like, it's a more extreme version of taking the pictures off the walls, not talking about it. He's even in a place where he's like, we need to try to move and not live in the same house that she was in. We just need to completely dissociate from it.
Yeah, and that's how people deal with it sometimes. Like, they have to get out of that situation. They have to get out of the physical surroundings in order to maybe even deal with the grief. Like, maybe if I'm in a different place, I can deal with it better. I don't know.
Yeah. And so, selling the house through his sister and realtor, Liz Wyatt. That's my cousin's name. Well, maiden name. They don't go by Wyatt anymore, but yeah. I was like, I know a Liz Wyatt. Used to be Wyatt. Different last name now, but yes. And then she named her son Wyatt after her maiden name. Whole thing. Anyway, cool. Yeah.
Full circle.
Yes.
Well, he does try to punish her. And again, I feel like don't take away her art supplies, which are her way of dealing with her grief. Like, taking those away, despite the fact that she sharpied her arms, because it was like, okay, I'll be honest. It was a marker that was gray with a black top. It didn't say Sharpie. Right. It wasn't a brand endorsement.
Gotta be careful.
Let's just say it was a permanent marker.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love that, like, moment, because he, like, goes, you know, he's cleaning up the room to kind of make room for, like, the showing, and he grabs the notebook, and I'm like, the Covenant, don't do it. And then he does it, and then it gets to the point where finally it drops on the floor, and then the hairdryer, I was like, the Covenant! And I was like, you know what, it's the hairdryer's fault. You're fine. You can blame it on the hairdryer. And then having the conversation.
That's where we see the cat, that she's updated the cat on the cover to be all like tentacle cat from hell. Yeah,
and then him having the conversation with her in the van where it's the subtle little choices where she's sitting in the back and they're having the conversation and she's like mad at him and there's this whole kind of thing. And where she's like, you know, you used to draw all these really good things. What happened? And you used to bring them to me constantly, all these things. And then that's where it's like, well, I stopped bringing them to you because I figure you just threw them out. And then that moment, he just gets up and goes inside and goes and grabs that box and brings it back. And again, it's the subtle little things of like showing their closeness, literally, by her climbing up into the passenger seat and being able to, like, this actual closeness happening. And then, you know, going through all of the drawings, that, like, some of the ones, even Dave, who sleeps, and, you know, Super Lion and all of these things you were getting, like, that can make comebacks, which is really funny. But just going through that, but again, I was just like, oh, like, he kept all of it. Like, it is important to him. And then I did mention, I'd circle back to this one, is whenever he talks with Jack outside, you know, in the front yard, while, you know, holding off the school bus a little bit. That scene was really impactful to me, even though, like, by the end of it, he's, like, scolding him and being like, okay, well, grow up whenever you're ready to actually talk to me, which was a little, you know, it hurt a little bit to see.
Yeah, because he was trying to talk to him.
Yeah, but I did love that in the first place that he took the time to address Jack, that it was a very important thing where he literally says, like, you can talk to me. He can tell. He picks up something with his son that, like, something's going on. And he says, you know, it's like, I know we've been focused a lot on Amber. And he's like, I want to make sure that you don't feel overlooked right now. And the fact that he addresses that and asks him about it was powerful.
It was.
And that he says, you can still talk to me about anything. I know it seems like we're busy with Amber, but, like, this line of communication is always open. I love you, and I want to make sure that you know I'm not overlooking you. And I thought that was really good. Then, yeah, of course, he does follow it up with, like, chiding him about, like, not being serious when he's talking about the notebooks and the monsters and the plate. And it's like, okay. It's like, it is kind of a wild tale. Like, it's coming from him, like, I can see him being like, okay, don't tell me what's the problem then. Like, kind of getting frustrated with him. And, again, he snaps at him. It maybe says things a little harsher than he should have, but it's the same as what we see Jack do to Amber later. It's because Taylor's been stuffing, and eventually it's going to pop out in places you don't want it to, you know?
Because that's what happens. If you want to have control over it, you can't continue to stuff, because when it's full and explodes, you don't have control anymore.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're going to lash out, and you could lash out against someone that has been your main support. I mean, your main supporter, like, or been the person to help you keep it together.
Even with the sick bird poop yellow color on the window, he still thinks it's a crazy story.
Yeah, but it wasn't bird poop.
And then the first time I picked up on the picture thing was before she even said it, when they're walking out on the street. Because as he's cleaning up the house again, and, like, you know, the coffee mug goes missing and stuff, where, you know, they don't say pictures. Like, Liz keeps referring to it as the faces. You know, did you get rid of the faces, take down the faces? And she goes, I'm going to ask you a question about the faces. And then she starts to ask the question, and then she doesn't say anything. It's unspoken. All she says was it intentional? And he says yes, and then walks off. And immediately I knew what they were talking about. Because I was like, it's the fact that he took down any pictures of his late wife. Because, again, like, any pictures that I had seen on the walls briefly were just of the kids. There was no, and so I was like, I had picked up on that. And so when she addresses that without even saying what it is, I knew what it was.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then he sees the fixed plate and he's like, oops, maybe I was wrong with what I said to Jack. I don't know. We'll see. And then he fully confirms that later because, the coffee mug vanished. Then his phone went missing. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Again, one of those fun things about watching this and taking notes on a first watch is I paused the movie and I went, I'm calling it before the reveal even happens. It's the Eiders because they steal his stuff. Eventually, his eyeballs. I was like, yep, I remember her talking about that and showing him the drawing.
Yeah.
So, and then, he goes into the room and it's like, that fully confirms that Jack was serious about Amber's drawings coming to life. It's like, okay, now you've seen it firsthand. So there might be a boy that is owed an apology.
Look at all the stuff that was down by the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Like all their stuff from their house was down by the pond.
Mm-hmm.
It had been relocated.
Yeah.
A lot of it looked like it was probably from Amber's room.
Yeah, again,
I don't know. It was a lot of stuff.
It was, again, just one of those representations of like down by the water edge with the evil Amber and even the Eiders being that guardian of, no, we're going to sit here in the pain and in the darkness and in the grief and all the things that are good, we're going to rip them out. We're going to gut them out. We don't want that. We don't want that anymore. We're clearing this out. More space for grief. More space for pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's no room for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
We can only fit the bad in here. And that's what, as Taylor said earlier when they were in the car talking about her pictures, Taylor said that life is about balancing the good and the bad. If you don't carry the good with you too, it's going to make the bad stronger. Mm-hmm. And that is true. You have to have a balance.
Mm-hmm. And every time I saw Taylor's "Today is a Good Day" mug, then "Good Day" by 21 Pilots would get stuck in my head, and I'd keep singing, "Today is a good day, never know, never know." And then I would just, which today's a special day as we're recording this, because we are literally less than an hour away from the release of their new album, Breach. The ending of a decade-long story. And then I got to thinking, actually I thought about this weeks ago, but I haven't said anything. Maybe a special Run for Your Lives episode possibility of just talking about and breaking down the Dima storyline as a whole and talking about the different songs and music videos. We can give our listeners a playlist of videos instead of a movie to watch. I don't know, maybe.
I vote yes. I vote yes.
It's a little different, out of our usual wheelhouse, but I could nerd out about it.
We could have so much fun with that, and that would take some time to put together. That would be different prepping than a movie. It wouldn't be a let's watch a movie and take notes. It's more of a let's dive in.
Go video by video, yeah.
Yeah, and the rabbit hole. Yeah. Oh my God.
Just a thought.
So fun. No, I think that's a great idea.
Because after we're done recording this, by the time we're done, then we'll have just a little bit of a wait for the release of the album and the release of the music video that wraps up the whole story. So
I'm not ready, but I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready, but I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready for the conclusion, but I'm not ready for it to be over. But I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Let's wrap this up then so we can get to it. But yeah, so the cat we talked about. And then, that conversation between Liz and Taylor. I said, there's Taylor's repression of grief. The pictures, they talk about that, that negativity and just the hurt that he's holding back himself.
Yeah.
And then just really the last thing is then that reveal we talked about was the window tapping in Amber's room and the yellow butterfly, the memory that she held on to from her mother.
Yeah.
The one good thing in that initial notebook.
Mm-hmm. I liked the way that butterfly was, or that butterflies were included in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because butterflies, they've been kind of a semblance of reconnecting with a lost loved one.
Mm-hmm.
There have been different instances where a butterfly has shown up at just the right time that have made people feel that they're connecting with someone who passed away, who said they would come back. You know how you hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had things with cardinals, like, because cardinals are also very much like that. And for a couple of years, I had the same. I assume it was the same one. It might not have been. This cardinal just kept. I thought at first maybe he's just antagonizing my cats because that's what would happen. But I don't think so. I don't know. It's just one of those things. And butterflies, I love butterflies, and I just feel like there's something special about them. And I noticed that Taylor had a butterfly on his shoulder a couple of times at the end of the movie. And I just thought, that's kind of like a...
Yeah. Because that was like the guiding, like that's what...
It.
Once he realizes it's that yellow butterfly, and then they follow it, it leads them to the kids.
Mm-hmm. It's very special.
Mm-hmm. Last little random notes. Again, some about Bowman. Not helpful.
How about everyone cool is an orphan?
Yeah.
And he lists that off. And this is when I started to be like, okay, because it's right after Bowman says to Amber, did I do something to you? And that's when I'm like, he likes her. That's what this is. He likes her. Yeah. And then
I didn't write that one down, but that is a really funny one. Yeah, that everybody, Batman, Superman. The Avengers. The Hulk's not an orphan. Have you ever seen the Hulk's parent?
Oh my God. And I loved when he came back with the hose through the window, like he broke the window and came in with the hose. And I was like, okay, maybe you're not a brat. Because literally before that, multiple times I wrote, what a brat he was.
And then at the end, they were like, Jack and Amber are about ready to give up. And he's not going to give up now because he wants to use his flamethrower that he brought. And then
you have a flamethrower?
Yeah, I love
that was fun.
And I was like, man, he's going to be so mad that Jack got to use the flamethrower on a monster instead of him.
That takes me to this little interview. One thing. So there was this NPR All Things Considered interview that Seth Worley did, where this is what he said. The monsters that are brought to life from Amber's drawings are made of whatever art supply that Amber used to draw them.
Yeah.
So if she drew them with a crayon, they'd be made of crayon wax. If she drew them with chalk, they'd be made of chalk. And that's one that allowed this wonderful opportunity to have them leave colored streaks in their wake on anything they touch, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
And it also spoke to how you could destroy them. Like the crayon wax, you get it hot, it starts to melt. And chalk, if you hit it hard enough, it bursts into like powder. And then it's in the air. And it created all these amazing visual opportunities. And I have to agree. I liked that. I liked that it wasn't, this is how we destroy them with water. Well, some, yes, but not all of them.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. Bowman using his powers of annoyance to good use. Try to distract the evil Amber and her cohorts long enough for the Wyatts to create their new butt.
Well, they did say, how's he going to do that? By doing what he does best, by being a huge butthole, basically, is what. And I'm like, okay, beehole, not butthole, beehole.
Which then becomes like a term of endearment. I love that at the end on the bus. With what's up, orphan?
Yep.
What's up, beehole?
So much. Like.
Yeah, that's good. I do love, again, a choice that's made. Like, it makes it more family friendly, but it also ends up being a very cool, creative choice because of like the art supplies and like the monsters being made out of stuff and like spewing color and glitter and all this. That they are able to use splotches of color, especially red, on the clothes and the faces of the characters and the kids that would take place of usual like blood and wounds you'd see in a typical monster horror movie. Instead, they come out of this scrap covered in color, and it's like, oh, that's the gore of this movie is the colors that they have on them. It's really cool. I love that.
It was really clever. It's kind of, they made a kid's horror movie, kind of. And I think it worked.
Yeah. Last notes I have, it's just cool to see the concepts that Amber explained going through her notebook, then realized on screen, was really fun to see all of those
my gosh,
show up.
yeah. Because you're looking for them.
Yeah.
You're looking for them. You know if she's mentioning them, that you're going to see
it's
them.
Like, that's coming back, yeah. And then the last random one, DeMarcus, one of the kids on the bus, has that smooth jazz music on his iPod, which I didn't know anyone still had one of those, especially a kid of that age.
Are they making a resurgence or something?
Not that I know of.
No.
But the track that's playing, I loved it. I didn't get the exact name of it. It was like some kind of, what was it, like On the Eve of Longing or something, like, real sexy jazz song. And the artist on there, it's listed as, and even in like the credits and stuff, listed as by Cody G, like Kenny G, because it was written and produced by the composer of the film, Cody Fry. And so he made that. So gosh. It's like a fake artist that was like him doing genius. I love that so much.
Well, when you have a budget, you have to think about how you spend it.
And then they have an actual like song credit after that, because then like after that when it goes into Going In by Emilio Rojas. And then I love like the girl on the bus was like, what is this playlist? And I was like, dude, I'm with him. DeMarcus, I get you, buddy. Because I love a good playlist that will take you on some weird, swervy journeys. Daphne, my playlist very, very literally could go from saxophone to hip hop. That's not out of the norm for my playlist. It very well
could.
So
it very well could. I've heard it in the car before.
Yeah.
For sure. You've got one super long playlist with so many songs on it. It's really that one. Yeah. Don't be dogging DeMarcus's playlist.
That's great. So good. And yeah, that's it. This was a quick one, right?
No, it was not. And I'm down for it in all the best ways. I think this might be one of our longest episodes that the two of us have done in quite a while. I do have a couple little things I just want to say. Basically, there's this interview that Worley did that's on maxon.net. And it's basically what inspired him to do this story. And this is what he said. When I was a kid, my sister got in trouble for drawing a picture that, in hindsight, was comically violent, but at the time was concerning enough for all parties involved that she had to see a counselor. The counselor actually commended her for making the healthy choice of expressing her anger through a drawing instead of any sort of real violence. And I remember hearing that and thinking that it was maybe the most powerful and coolest thing anyone had ever said to a child. This thing you did that made everyone nervous is evidence that you're a good person making healthy choices. So I decided that was the kind of adult I wanted to be in a kid's life one day. Flash forward to my daughter coming home from kindergarten with drawings and made-up stories that were, without precedent, inventively violent. Suddenly, I realized that you can believe two things at once. That art is a safe place for violence, while simultaneously believing that your daughter is a serial killer and it's somehow your fault. That tension immediately felt writable to me. I've wanted to make movies ever since I saw Jurassic Park at age 9. And here I suddenly saw this opportunity to sell a story that was part Inside Out, part Jurassic Park, and that's how Sketch was born.
I love that. That's incredible.
Yeah, me too. It's honest. It's honest.
Oh, man.
So, Pake, I think we did it.
Finally. We got it. Man, that was a great one. Again, picking it, and I was like, it's the night of the 21 Pilots stuff, so we'll just get a real quick, easy kids movie. We can knock it out. Not expecting to cry a whole bunch throughout the whole day and process grief and then talk about it for 2 hours. But I'm so glad we did. It was worth it and
so
amazing.
Am I. It was great. It was so worth it.
Yes.
I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. Oh, and there goes the feedback phone. Perfect. I hope there's some good stuff on here. Let's go check it out. All right, we do have one piece of feedback this week, and can we guess who that came from? Of course, it is our wonderful, amazing, fantastic friend, Catherine, coming through with some feedback this week. And she says, I'm the weird parent who would love to see Amber's notebook. Her imagination is amazing. I'd immediately seek a therapist in outlets like creative writing, video game design, and kids' theater, but the creatures were fantastic, and I'd want to hear her explain all of them. Jack is a great brother, not only for his flamethrower skills, but his defiance that Amber was not the creature she drew. I have to respect Bowman for taking that rejection, and for the good aim with whatever that weapon was. I like seeing healthy relationships in movies geared towards kids. I wasn't prepared for the ending to hit me so hard. Even Jack wielding the emerald diamond sword had me tearing up. I'm curious to learn more about the different special effects that somehow made googly-eyed drawings terrifying. If it wasn't for the bastards and blood oaths before school, I'd definitely show this to my 6-year-old. She's been spending her Saturday mornings watching the docuseries When Sharks Attack and drawing various shark species attacking. Cookie Cutter is her favorite, and then she also included one of her daughter's drawings, and...
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Adorable.
It is.
And it definitely is a couple of people being chased and attacked by some sharks. And it's fantastic.
One is a hammerhead shark, I'm quite sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So amazing. Love that, Catherine. Well, if you'd like to submit feedback like Catherine, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. As always, you can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links that you'll ever need. And if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We are available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you feel so inclined, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that is the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
We do indeed. And of course, speaking of sharing the love, you know I got to give those shout outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe around us and beyond. A lot of great stuff for you to go check out over the week while you're waiting for the next episode here. Of course, on Podcastica, the cast of us, Daryl Dixon, Season 3, Jason and Lucy continuing to go through that with Season 3, Episode 6 this week. And then Rebecca is on, joining Jason for the feedback episode this week, so you can check those out for Daryl Dixon fans. And then Handmaid's Tale podcast has a little special episode up this week if you want to check that out. And it's probably on House Podcastica as well.
Yes, it is.
They kind of catch-all for a lot of stuff, so you can check that out. Episode 34 of that podcast with Jason, Wendy, and Daphne, kind of checking in the state of things going on in this country right now and applying the things that they've learned and seen from watching that show. And kind of having a little bit more of an in-depth political discussion about some stuff going on. And I would read the title of that, but you probably do a better job. I can attempt it, but I've been out of the Handmaid's loop for a little bit. So I'm like, I don't want to butch the Latin.
Nolite de bastardas carborundorum.
Which I did watch the first several seasons, so I do remember Don't Let the Bastards Get You Down.
Exactly. Good job. Another series that you may not finish.
No, probably not. Maybe eventually, who knows? But when there's more and more things that keep coming out, then yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You will watch Squid Game, the challenge, when it comes out.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Because I'm a sucker for Netflix reality shows. They're always going to get me.
I know, right? Funny thing, Pake, at trivia last night, we had to do a tiebreaker question that was about the number of original series that Netflix has available on their platform. Like, original to Netflix. Like, they created it. How many would you even venture to guess?
At this point, probably close to like 200, right?
Oh, yeah. 3,000 something.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
We were surprised.
That's like all countries, all languages
everything
and stuff, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was wild to get that. We ended up winning the tiebreaker, but we only guessed like 121.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Other than those, with podcasting, you can go venture a little bit outside. Got to give some love to our friend Mark head of the Pirate Core Entertainment Network. Of course, he's put together a lot of fun stuff over there. He's been covering Peacemaker over on Panels to Pixels. That has ended after this last week. Season 2 ended, but as far as I know, that's the series finale, which, no spoilers, but really pissed me off because it ended on the most insane cliffhanger ever. And then to watch that and go, well, I can't wait for season 3, then to find out, well, that's probably not going to happen. Because James Gunn wants to continue that story in upcoming movies. And dang it, James Gunn, now you're going to make me actually go back to start watching DC movies again. Thanks. Because I have to see what happens. I have to see what's next. If the Peacemaker story continues in whatever DC movies going forward, I guess you got me. But yeah, that finale was really fun. And yeah, definitely check out Panels to Pixels for coverage of that. And of course, Becky and Mandy are back together on the What's On Tonight podcast. They covered The Pit over on there, which has got a lot of love, of course. And so they're doing another interview over there with Taj Spates, who played Jake on The Pit. So you can definitely check out that interview over there. Love when people that we know and friends of ours in the podcast universe get to do really cool things. And talk to really cool people. It's always fantastic.
Yeah.
So go give that a listen and check that out. And then we always give some love over to our friends at TV Podcast Industries. They're covering season 2 of Gen V, which is the boys spinoff. I'm like an episode behind on that. I've usually been watching it over the weekends. And that season 2 has been absolutely nuts over there on Gen V as well. So if you're watching that, definitely give a listen over to TV Podcast Industries on their coverage of that show. But yeah, and then other than that, if you want to hear more of me and Daphne, you can check out our comedy Goofy Friends podcast, the Buffalo podcast with our friends Jeff and Jerry, as well as we just kind of get together, shoot the breeze, talk, try to make each other laugh, and play goofy games and have a good time.
Play games. We play a lot of ridiculous games.
Mm-hmm.
And have a ton of fun. Even though they torture me.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some fun, somehow. It happens.
It's a blast, so go check it out. You got plenty of things to go listen to, and then after you're done checking those out, then next Friday, right here on Run for Your Lives, we'll have something fresh and fun and new for you. What are we doing next week, Daphne?
Well, when a pair of unwitting explorers release genetically engineered piranhas into a river, a peaceful resort town becomes a feeding frenzy. We are covering Joe Dante's 1978 film, Piranha. This one is a lot of fun. I think that you guys are going to like our conversation on this movie. Don't
let the kids tune in on that one, though.
No.
Sorry. Kids, if you listen to this one, thanks. It was great having you.
Yeah.
Go back to doing what you're doing, and next week's not for you. Sorry.
Nope. Definitely not. Well, that brings us to the end of another fun episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.